Hey, what's up, guys? It's a beautiful day. I think I'm going to paint today. Here's my current project. Let's start one from scratch. Here's some tools we need: paint brushes, X-Acto knife, small Phillips head. The paint we'll be using today: all Model Masters. Most of the colors we're using are acrylic. The gold color or brass color we'll be using for his chest will be a lacquer, sprayed with an airbrush and sealer. First, we'll disassemble any and everything we can, which is not much on this particular figure. His little arms will pop off easy. Most figures nowadays that Hasbro is making, the arms, legs, and everything will pop off. He's actually willing away right here at the hip. I like to paint my figures tore down into individual pieces as much as I can get them without getting too complex. I'm going to unscrew the arms. Okay, the arms are off. Now we're going to unscrew the screws out of the head and the waist area. Put our screws in the cap. Okay, that's as far apart as I'm taking them. Took all the screws out except the screws in the head. I just backed those out halfway so I could pop it off the ball joint. Now we're ready to clean all of our parts. Some nice hot soapy water. Toothbrush. I'm going to drop all the small pieces straight in there to soak. Everything actually, except for the torso that has the battery compartment. I'm going to give this a scrub. All the parts have been scrubbed and rinsed. Got an air compressor with about 50 pounds of pressure, air nozzle. We're going to blow all the water. Okay, all the parts are clean. We're ready to start painting. The reason we clean these in the first place is when plastic parts are made from the factory, the molds that each part is made in has what's called a release agent, a silicone film sprayed in it so the part will pop out easier. And that silicone film is left on the plastic, and it does not agree with paint. So we've we've cleaned all that off. It's nice and squeaky clean now, so we're ready to start painting. We're going to take this one up so we can airbrush the brass gold. Also, these small parts popped off the arms. Alright, got Grimlock's parts taped up. We're about ready to airbrush. For you guys that do not have an airbrush, I would suggest buying a Grimlock that has the already gold plated chest piece. I think there's 2 or 3 versions out there. Or just do an entire different figure. Needle nose we're going to use to hold these small pieces while we airbrush. We're going to set our air compressor on about 20-25 pounds of pressure. And I'll be back with the airbrushing. Okay, I'm going to make sure to give our paint a good shake. Stir the pigment up from the bottom, bringing it up. And again, shake. This is ready for the airbrush, so there's no thinning or anything you have to add to the paint. You always want to test your airbrush out before you spray your part. Looks good. Of course, airbrush, if you're using an airbrush, obviously you know how to use one. Push down for air, pull back. The more you pull back as it's pushed down, the more paint comes out. So I'm keeping it down, but I'm barely pulling back. More and more, less and less, depending on the area I'm spraying. Look at that. Like turning plastic to gold. That's good. I haven't watched the camera, so hopefully I captured all that. I'm not going to stop. This has been a challenge to video and paint at the same time. Hey, I'm up for it. Like to share some knowledge here. Hopefully you guys will enjoy painting too. Looks like that piece is good. Careful not to touch any of it. I'm really not worried about the overspray because we're going to come back and hand brush up to all the edges. So I just want to really concentrate on getting all the areas we want gold, or brass, excuse me. that's more. This dries pretty quick, so I'm gonna give it just a second and set it down. I still wouldn't handle it. You don't want to handle it until after we get the sealant, the clear coat on it. Let it thoroughly dry. See, I painted my thumb. It's pretty, huh? This is going to be a challenging one to put down now. Should have thought ahead before I did that. Oh well. Like I said, it dries quick. If we messed it up, we can always sand it down with about 1,000 grit sandpaper and start over. Now this is why I don't like using the airbrush. Cleanup time. And run some lacquer thinner through it. Alright, we've got all our gold airbrushed. Got our airbrush clean. Time for the sealer. This is not as much a clear coat as a sealer. That's why it's called sealer. But it is a clear coat. It's not a gloss coat. Should have worded it that way. Unlike a gloss coat, this will dry very fast. Kind of like the gold color itself. Now if it was a gloss coat and it took a while to dry, I would put a cover over it, but not sealing it, keeping something propped up so it'll get some air under it to dry. But this dries fast enough where I'm not worried about dust particles settling on it while it's drying. If they do, they'll probably knock right off. It dries that fast. But we're not going to handle it. I'm actually going to leave these parts for probably 24 hours before I try any other painting on these parts. You can't really see this. You just got to remember where you sprayed and watch as you spray. Make sure you get a good coat everywhere. You want to seal in the brass color. Unfortunately, it takes a little bit of the luster away when you spray the sealer on it. Still a lot better than that plastic color, huh? Still a beautiful day outside. See what this looks like. Any of the bad spots, we're going to paint that with a nice edge up here, so it'll be just fine. Alright, here we go. A day full of painting, filming, editing. This is all I could get done today. It's a good start, so hopefully in the next couple days I'll get the next steps up. Next will be painting some gray colors, doing the rest of the parts. So I'll try to get a video up every day or two and hopefully get this thing done within a week or two. So give you guys some time to get your paintbrushes, supplies, paints, all that stuff together, figure out what character you want to paint, and hopefully you will join in and have some fun painting with me. Till next time, guys. Peace.